unlike YouTube, on social media, people are starting to not follow. They don't need to, because the algorithms are bringing you what you like. So one of the reasons your views are over-indexing is you're getting enough likes and shares and people are staying on the video. So the algo is understanding that people like your stuff and they keep showing it to more people and then more people like it. So you're winning on the merit of the creative. Literally, when I started in social media in 2006 and 2007, if you interacted with anyone, it was considered rude not to follow each other.
Yeah.
Today, when I look at the behaviors of the end consumer, we're going to like it, but we're not going to follow the person because I'm going to see it anyway. And that's what's starting to happen. And so that's something to not over-fixate on. Attention is the #1 asset. Anything I can help you with from understanding like any growth that you're looking for from, like, for example, how much are you all doing on Snapchat Spotlight?
So we've been vague with Snapchat. We grew it up where I think we're at like, I don't remember the last time I looked at it. It was probably like 650,000 members or people or whoever are involved.
Yeah, so to me, this is for everybody who's listening, who's trying to grow. It's always supply and demand. Everyone's trying to win on TikTok now, even though 5-6 years ago, as you know, I was yelling like, this is where the opportunity is. You know, Instagram is even more competitive and hard. And YouTube as well. And I think there's this big gap on Snapchat for people like yourselves that are super advanced, but even people that are watching right now that want to start their journey. It's a very tricky and clever little place to jam on. Yeah. And then for you personally, you're probably going to segue soon into being able to do some stuff on LinkedIn and talking about the business side of what you're doing, not just the entertainment side, you know?
Sorry, a call came in.
No worries.
No, I completely agree. We definitely have been wanting to grow a lot more on Snapchat and focus more time on Snapchat. And I think we are now. We're going to start focusing more time on it.
Also because you're doing the vlog and you can do post-creative strategy of chopping up pieces and getting it into distribution.
So we've thought about that too. And I think a lot of it, I don't know how I got to look more into it in terms of how the spotlight's different from like the story posts and stuff like that.
The spotlight is the TikTok and Instagram of it.
The vibe. Okay. So it's that vibe.
That's where you can have one clip get 13 million views and away you go.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you another question while we're going back and forth.
Yeah.
How does it feel that every time you're on camera, all they're doing is asking for the girls?
It makes me feel a few different ways. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it makes me feel good.
Of
I mean,
course.
my kids are, I mean, as, you know, devil's advocate, I mean, they're my kids. I mean, they're like pride and joy. I think they're the cutest things in the world. And it's great that we can share our moments and our time with our kids. And it's good that other people like that as well.
Yeah.
So it's fun to be able to do that and create like a,
you think about as they grow older, overexposing them in this medium and the ramifications that they might deal with as teenagers or things of that nature. Like, how much time do you guys spend on that?
Oh, hi, baby. Look. Oh, you just woke up. Say hi.
Hi.
Look, he's the one who sent you the book. Say good. Good. Still waking up.
Oh.
Honestly, I think growing up in this field, I mean, when you find something you love, you want everybody to do it. And to be honest with you, I think growing up in this field, it teaches them a lot about how to deal with real life problems, like things that are going to come up, things that other people say. Like, people aren't nice. They just aren't. No matter what you do, no matter what field you're in, they just aren't nice.
Right. And the sooner you teach the girls that when someone's not nice, it's because they're hurting themselves.
Exactly. Or there's something they're battling and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's funny. Obviously, I decided to go with Patient Pig and Eager Eagle, but, you know, Compassionate Catfish and Empathy Elephant. Like, I think a lot about compassion, empathy, sympathy. Like, we've lost that as an art.
Yeah.
And to me, when I see people mean to me or to others, it's by default, brother. I don't think about like being upset. I don't think about wanting to fight. I think about like, damn, what's going on in their world, you know? And I hope they're gonna be okay.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a big driver of why I want to build this universe. One of the characters in VeeFriends is called Accountable Ant, and like I desperately want that character to become like, I want your girls to love Accountable Ant, because the sooner you teach kids accountability, everybody, as you know, in the world is pointing fingers. As soon as you point thumbs, and to your point, people talk a lot about like kids overexposure, teenagers on social. I'm like, look, if you build actual self-esteem in your kids, whether they are known by millions or they're known by 3 people,
Exactly.
Life is about insecurity and self-esteem, and you've got to absolutely find that balance.
And you find the balance. You learn how to deal with those people and those issues. And
100%.
I think
somebody just asked me if I was the uncle. The answer is, I am not by blood, but I am super
not by blood. He's Uncle GaryVee.
I'm thrilled to be Uncle GaryVee to those 2 superstars.
That's funny.
Anything else before I lose you here, brother? And you know, and by the way, I see a lot of people asking. You can get the book at GaryVee.com/VFB, capital VFB.
Go get it. Great book. It's a great book. My girls love it, and they literally, that's all they want to read, to be completely honest.
Amazing.
So it's funny because leading up to this, we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to ask him? Like, I have no idea what we're going to ask him. And I think your boy Zach, I've been in touch with him.
Yes, always.
Great. I love him. I feel like he answered a lot of stuff for me.
Let me jump in here because I'm trying to give value to your viewers. Zach works for me on relationships. One of the things we're proud of here is we believe in karma and giving love. So literally I have a full-time employee, and many, but Zach is one of them, who literally we reach out to people that we see are growing. Since I've been in this since 2006, since I work with all the brands and the platforms, that makes me so happy, bro. You don't even understand what that just meant to me. Like, knowing we're delivering on, I don't think people give back enough in the world.
100%.
And just like knowing that like I'm paying someone to give you the secrets, the unlocks, the insights, it makes me proud.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate the help. Like literally, like that means the world. And to be honest, and I think I gave some little insights to Zach to maybe relay to you to potentially help with the book.
I'll catch up with him.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will definitely catch up with
something. Maybe.
All right, brother. I'm going to move on to the next one.
Of course. Have a
brother.
Great
like
one.
I said, reach out anytime. Say hello to all the girls.
Thank you so much, everybody. Go get GaryVee's book now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sounds
Love
good.
You, brother.
Later.
Stay well, Nick.
You too.
Hey.
Gary, what's up?
Hi.
What's up, guys? Why don't you say hello to everybody in the Vayner Nation so they know who you are first?
Hey, everybody. I'm Kevin Mccarty.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Mccarty.
We're the Mccarty family on YouTube and TikTok and IG, everywhere.
And why don't you tell everybody how that started and what you all do?
Yeah. Right now, we're full-time content creators, but I was a teacher. I taught high school economics and government for 15 years. And Stephanie was in marketing, and she was the VP of sales and marketing for a tech company. And COVID hit, and I was teaching online. Steph had a position where she had to be at work all the time still. And so to keep our sanity, we decided to start filming videos. And that was kind of right when TikTok started taking off too. And I still stayed a teacher. And about 2.5 years ago, Steph talked me into making the leap and trying it full time. And I had 8,000 subscribers then on YouTube. And today we're at 12.3 million. So
absurd. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For you. Really. Well, thank you for being on, and thank you for this is a special day for me, as you can imagine. Like, the kids' book has been in my mind for many years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's huge. Yeah. We were just listening to all the characters that you're developing for your series too. I think it's super important because as parents, you're always looking for something quality to show your kids. There's, our page is, it's funny. It's where you can go to be mindless and kind of escape the craziness of the world. Like, you don't have to.
It's what entertainment's for, right? The reason music and sports and film and television is important is you can check out of your worries or the world's worries for those couple of hours. And, you know, stand-up comedy, like these mediums are so important.
For sure. And I think it just gets harder and harder. Kids have access to so much information now. You know, there's social media, they can find anything on the internet. And like, what kind of tools can we actually put in front of them to like teach them those values that, you know, if that's all they have, those things can be missed. And so I love the ideas that your book centers around, and we can't wait to get a copy of it.
Thank you. I mean, ultimately, that is what is so it's interesting, like eagerness and patience, right? I'm obsessed with both, especially patience, because patience is hard.
I'm still working on that, Gary.
And brother, I'll tell you this, it's a triggering word in my content. People get mad that I talk about patience so much. I get unlimited DMs from like alpha dudes and gals who are like, GaryVee, what the heck? You're supposed to be the go, go, go guy. What's all this patience? I'm like, do not confuse the word patience with complacency.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a reason there's a different word in the book dictionary for patience and for laziness, right? And so patience is hugely important. Like, I've done a lot in my career, and I feel like I'm just starting to kind of get going. And I run into 22-year-old men and women GaryVees all the time, and they're like, "It hasn't happened for me, Gary. It's over." And I'm like, "It's over?" I'm like, I worked in a liquor store until I was 34.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I think people really are confused about, but what the book goes into, and I'm hoping to teach parents and kids, and I see a lot of you commenting, the book is linked right here, pinned, GaryVee.com/VFB, VeeFriends book, is patience is remarkable for Patient Pig, but what kids are going to find out in the book is she took it a little too far. And so I think the big thing that I'm trying to teach modern parenting, or at least leave a deposit that I hope people get value out of, is we've lost our balance. We've gone a little bit too red and a little too blue when purple is the answer, you know?
Absolutely.
And so, but eagerness is amazing. But if you end up being sloppy because you're so eager to get something done, game over.
Or hurting people along the way, right? It's all about balance.
And I think it's just a fantastic way to like showcase that to kids too, and a fun way for parents to be that too. So you see one perspective, and then you flip it, and then you get the other perspective. I think that's genius.
Appreciate it. Big shout out to Manny Galan, who used to work with us, came up with that idea of going in both ways. Like, I thought that was super clever. We really like that. Let's kick out of the book for a second. Everybody here's got a gist. If you want the book, if you have somebody 3 to 8 in your life, the link's below. How about while we're here together, I'd love to bring you guys some value. You've obviously exploded, but are there any platforms that you want to grow on, or hitting any bumps, brand deals, business stuff? While I'm here, I might as well use my business acumen, bring you a little value.
Thank you. Thank you. We're actually, I would say YouTube is going great. We have a really loyal following there. You know, Instagram is one of those places it's odd because we have, 122,000 followers on there. Our views are that of someone with a lot more followers, but it doesn't translate.
There's a couple things going on. One, unlike YouTube, on social media, people are starting to not follow.
Yeah. What is that?
Because they don't need to. Because the algorithms are bringing you what you like. So one of the reasons your views are over-indexing is you're getting enough likes and shares and and people are staying on the video. So the algo is understanding that people like your stuff, and they keep showing it to more people, and then more people like it. So you're winning on the merit of the creative at a time when, literally when I started in social media in 2006 and 2007, if you interacted with anyone, it was considered rude not to follow each other.
Yeah.
Now,
that makes a lot of sense.
Today, if I see your content, I like it. Like, when I look at the behaviors of the end consumer, we're going to like it, but we're not going to follow the person because I'm going to see it anyway. And that's what's starting to happen. And so that's something to not over fixate on. Just focus on making remarkable Instagram content. That's Instagram, right? The big thesis that I have that people make mistakes on is that people make the same content for every platform. And I believe the reason it makes sense is that people are now more algorithm based. Social media for the first decade was follow someone and you would see their stuff. Now we're just seeing algo.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes.
So what I would just say is don't get crippled by, you know, obviously when you meet people at the park and they're like, hey, like, how many followers? Oh, you're the social. How many followers you got on YouTube? Well, your chests go out real life, 12 million. And then when they're like, what about on Instagram? You're like, 122,000. You know, like, do not. One of the great things that I think everybody in the world, children and grown-ups, should learn is do not have self-esteem wrapped up in the amount of followers you have.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
Period. And back to your teaching roots, brother. Remember, like, if you really change the trajectory of one person's life in a school year, how great that actually felt. You could literally see it. That's how I want you to think about Instagram. As long as one person that day gets remarkable value out of this video, then that's what you should be fixated on. And then miraculously you'll wake up and there'll be more followers there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's been a process because I'm still new. Like we're 3 years into this, and I consider that still young. And
very young.
As a teacher, you know, you get to physically see that difference that you make with those kids. And I'm slowly starting to process that in my head, where it's like, you know, it's more about making the people that watch me feel good and not focusing on the views, not focusing on the followers. So that's something I'm still learning.
Yeah, brother. I think, look, there's a lot of reasons why people follow people in any platform, right? They share political views. They're attractive. They're funny. They have good business advice. They're in a small niche. Like I was watching somebody who collects Hot Wheels cars that have red lines in them, which are the most collectible Hot Wheels cars late last night on YouTube. Like that's a very, like the amount of people that collect Hot Wheels that are red wheels. Like that's like you're going nerd to nerd. But you see it in Comic-Con. You see it in why streaming works, these long tail documentaries. You know, like I think the key forever, no matter what anybody who's watching now is doing, is if they want it, focusing on them versus what you get out of it will always be a good strategic framework.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's the best when we get one of those, like, I was having a really bad day, this horrible thing happened, you guys made me laugh. Like that is like
it's everything.
Love that.
Anything else as a question before we get out of here?
Quick question for you. Because you're ungodly successful. There's no question about that. You're coming out with new, different streams, different areas. So there's no doubt that you are constantly learning. Like you can't just be like, yeah, I'm GaryVee, I know everything. Like you know, every time you go into a new project, you go into this animation, you're gonna learn something new. So we're working on going into our own animation. Is there any advice you would want to give us, or any like really big as a creative person, like things that you learned in that process?
Yes. One, trust your gut. You're gonna meet someone who's like, this is the best animation studio, and they made this and and they used to be at Bluey or Cocomelon, and you're gonna be like, oh my god. But like, if you don't feel it, be out. Here's another sentence. There are 7,000 human beings that could be the right partners for you in this next step. And when you're early in the journey, you think like, oh, we found an expert. There's only like 3 of them out there. There are 7,000 people that can disproportionately help you on your animation journey. Let's start there. So if that's true, if I'm right, which I feel I am, one man's point of view, well, then go with your gut. Like chemistry matters. Relationship matters. It's like a marriage. Like you've got to have chemistry. Like it matters. And so don't go by someone's resume. Go with what you feel. You two got here on a lot of intuition. And now you're going to go into the chapter where a lot of people start to think that there's a right way to do it, and they start to walk away from their intuition, and they start over listening to experts that never achieved what they're achieving.
Absolutely. Thank you so
much, Gary.
So that's that. And then there's a lot of nuances, right? Like animation's a slower process than like filming a vlog and having it up the next day, you know? So that's been a real interesting challenge for me because I love speed.
Yeah.
You know?
Instant gratification.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, it's the instant feedback. I'm learning. You know, when you say I'm constantly learning, it's because I'm reading DMs and I'm watching. I'm reading comments right now while we're talking. Like, you know, I'm a yapper, and people always see me talking, but the reality is I'm in listening mode 90% of my day, and then I'm talking.
That's awesome.
You know, so anyway, I'm just incredibly excited. I really wanted you two on here. It's really fun to watch from afar what's going on for you. And I really meant what I've said in the messages. We're always here for you. Like, you know, we have so much knowledge and relationships to give people. Karma is the currency of my Vayner world. And so if there's anything I can ever help you two with, feel free to reach out.
Same here, Gary. I mean, we've been huge fans of you for a very long time. And so just keep up the great work. Congrats on all your success and huge things to come for you, man.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hi.
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 Hi. I'm sorry. I was like,
no, I think it was on my end. Why don't you tell everybody from the Vayner Nation who you are and what you do?
Hi, I'm Ali Krieger, everyone. I'm a former newly retired professional soccer player for the U.S. Women's National Team and Gotham FC. I was a defender. I had a 17-year career, and now I am working for ESPN as a soccer analyst.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ali, actually, just before we even get into the kids' book, hi, everybody from Ali's world. We're here to talk about my new kids' book. Thank you, Ali, for joining. Ali, just with that intro, I mean, I have a really fun question for you.
Okay.
You're obviously an incredibly accomplished professional athlete.
Yeah.
So, and obviously women's sports, I have so many women's professional athlete friends, like when you're, just like I was for like social media, like when you're crusading for something and then it happens, it's such a feeling of accomplishment. You just retired. Tell me what it feels like to be like so thrilled that women's sports is truly now penetrating in a way that we were all dreaming it could. But you're a human being, because I've talked to a lot of I speak to a lot of Hall of Fame players who the first words out of their mouth are like, "These kids stink, and they make more money in 1 year than I did in my whole."
You're welcome.
You're welcome. How do you feel about it?
I actually am so happy that these young, talented players finally get what they deserve, that we've been fighting for. I mean, we were like 10 plus years, you know, dealing with the court system, fighting for equality, finally, you know, winning the lawsuit. There's still work that needs to be done, but these women now are reaping those benefits that we fought so hard for. And that was always the goal, right? Like the 99ers paved the way for us. They created this path, and then we took advantage of that. And then now we kind of snowplowed a little bit more, and then these younger players are reaping the benefit of that. But that's how it's supposed to be. That's how
I agree.
You know, things are supposed to happen, because your work now is, you're seeing that reward. And so it's really exciting. Now they just have to get back to the winning ways. And it's been
general, like I'm going even broader. Obviously women's soccer has always been at the precipice, but obviously WNBA has exploded. The ratings on like women's volleyball and softball, like it's all being lifted.
Right. It's really cool. Incredible, like to see the impact, and not just in, you know, women, like in all aspects of sport, but also just with the media and the sponsorships and the investment and merchandise, all the things.
All right, let's talk about this. How do you think about the kids' books and meeting in the middle and finding balance? And this book's all about competition. Like one of my biggest things is that, ironically, speaking to you makes this a lot of fun. I actually think we've lost our way with 8th place trophies. We need to ban them. They need to be banned immediately. We're teaching children that losing is bad. It's delusional. It's fake life. It was well intended, I'm sure. You don't want little Ricky and Jane to be crying, but I think crying is good. Like I cried every time I lost as a kid. It's because I cared. Like I love when little kids cry when they lose.
But I also think that
I honestly believe. I'm sorry, please.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off of what you said. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay, because you can learn from those mistakes. You grow in those uncomfortable situations, and you know, you learn how to stand up, brush yourself off, and get back after it, and roll your sleeves up again and continue to work hard. I think if everything was handed to us and very easy and everything was a success, then you know, people wouldn't be where they are and really feel that they were as successful as they can be. And so I think that,
like, in a real way, the over-coddlingification of the last 30 years has, everyone's like, why are these kids so insecure and so much anxiety? It's social media's fault. I'm like, you are not accountable, parents. You're blaming social media. Blame yourself. It's all that. Ali, do you know that parents go to schools and try to yell at teachers to give their kids a better grade?
I mean, that's just like, you have to, even in sport, like you have to try to make the most mistakes that you can, because you're going to just come back better and bigger and stronger than ever. So doing that as a child and really having a good understanding of it's okay, and you actually have to learn from it, and you gain those extra tools to then apply to your next opportunity and make that much better, and you're that much stronger and that much more knowledgeable about that experience. Without these experiences, you know, and sometimes more negative than positive, like, you're never going to become the person that you really should become without going through that. And you can apply that to any part of life, but kids need to learn that at a young age, in my opinion.
You know, it's why I love sports the most. Like, it's the one place that parents can't run. Parents, even the craziest ones, it's kind of hard to run on the field and kick the ball in the net for your kid. Though we were starting to get close to that, thank God. I think we're starting to find a little bit more balance. But, like, literally, that's why I love sports. Like, and by the way, people need to learn that they suck at stuff.
It's true. Like, it's true.
Anyway, what else is going on with you? How's the social media thing been going? It seems like it's going well for you.
Yeah, it's going. I feel like I'm so present with my kids when I have them. You know, now co-parenting, it's been an adjustment and such a transition, but you know, we're doing the best we can, and I'm trying to be as present as I can with them. And so I really don't, you know, I'm not involved in social media as much as I, you know, want to be, because I don't always want to be on my phone. But
you shouldn't. I mean, by the way, that goes back to the whole concept of the book. Like, you shouldn't.
Yeah, no. I like post it and ghost it and tweet it and beat it. Like, I'm one of those.
Wait a minute.
Like, get me in and get me
I want to
out.
dig a little bit further, though. Is that because you don't like the negative feedback in the comments?
No, I just feel like I don't have the time, and I feel like I'm never going to get that time back just scrolling through. I want to see what my friends are doing, because I don't call everyone all the time.
What about replying? So hold on, though, because there's something here I want you to think about.
Okay.
It's one thing to waste your time and scroll away the day. It's like watching TV, but it's a whole nother thing that when you post and ghost, what I'm fearful for is, what about when you post and maybe you give it 20 minutes and you come back and give another 15 minutes to reply to people. There's so many people that are diehard fans of you. Just one thank you, or one, you know, answering the question. Like, by the way, do you know how many moms and dads right now are desperately, and you know this because crazy sports parents are desperately interested in having their daughters have the professional career that you had, and you might be able to give an insight back to these 8th place trophies, or back to, you know, like, for example, a lot of parents now only let their kids focus on one sport so early because they think they're going to be in the league. News alert, everybody. Your kids are not going to be in the league.
No, and
like, you know, like.
But also, I agree, though. I think I played 3 sports, and I learned so many other skills that I applied to soccer, in volleyball and basketball.
This is where I'm going.
Also, the basketball is a transitional game, too.
Well, this goes back to why I'm trying to push you a little bit, because I think you have a lot to add. When you post something, and then somebody comes in, and their question's like, Ali, I have an 8-year-old daughter. She's really good at soccer, but she also loves tennis and just gymnastics. But coach said she could literally be a collegiate player. What do you think? You taking 38 seconds or 2 minutes to answer that and say, hey, I did this and this and this. You might literally change, in a massively positive way, someone's life. That's giving value to the community. I'm not asking you to sit there and read the comments to make yourself feel good because everyone says you're the GOAT. I'm saying get past those and find the 6 to 12 people that have a question and reply to it. Now you're building community instead of just shouting to the world.
Right. And you're right. I can definitely do that, and I want to do that. I think now I just need to make time to do that, because once I put the kids down, it's like my time to just breathe for a second. But in that time, I could definitely be better at And I'm not acknowledging that. Like, I definitely could be better at replying to those few people or, you know, fan supporters who I actually really care about too, because we built a relationship over the years. They've given me so much. They supported me. So yeah, they deserve that too. And I definitely will be better, because I haven't been on, you know, really this past year because of other things too. But I do think that would be beneficial. Yeah.
Two things. I apologize to everybody who said let her speak. I just needed to get that final thought out.
I'll listen to you all the time.
Two, look, I think taking away from family time is always the wrong answer. So I'm not looking for this to come at the expense of your family time.
For sure.
I'm looking for it to come out of the expense of the time you spend on things that are not productive.
Right.
And we all have that.
Right. We do.
Yeah. What about
That's
platforms?
a whole nother episode.
What about platforms? There's obviously Instagram. Do you play with others? Are you trying to blow up on one or trying to learn how to use one?
Well, Instagram's my main. And then I obviously have a fan page on Facebook. And then I just got into TikTok more now. I haven't really posted anything, but my brother is such a creative and he's an influencer too. So he's been like helping me along the way. I just feel like if I get too involved with all the social media things and all the platforms, it's like I'm gonna go crazy.
And don't go crazy.
So I just feel like I need to just, you know, focus on Instagram for right now, and then Facebook, it automatically uploads. Twitter, I'm not as involved, only for ESPN stuff, for my shows and, you know, important like soccer news, but that's really it.
Yeah, let me just throw one more thing at you and everybody who's watching. The other thing that I try to tell people about social is maybe today it's about you're selling your kid's book, or you want people to tune in when you're announcing an important soccer match. But I do want to remind people that one of the great reasons to build a community is one day you're going to be 80 and maybe your friend needs a bone marrow transplant, or maybe there's, you know, I don't think people think through that when they build a community, you know, it evolves through your life with you. Right. And so, you know, like just knowing you even from afar and sharing some common friends and how they talk about you, I find it unlikely that you're not going to try to put good into the world in those years. And I don't want you to like miss the moment where you have the highest propensity to amass attention. And then you're allowed to do with it whatever you want. Just a thought.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And I'll definitely try to apply that. I'm looking for so many, you know, new ideas and advice to now move into this next phase of my life where it's not, I don't lean on soccer so much, even though, yes, am I analyzing it and am I speaking about it all the time? Yes, but I need new avenues to really, connect with people on different levels. And I understand.
What are those avenues for you? What are the things that you like? What are your other interests?
I mean, I love to, I have like core people in my life that I really give a lot of my time, quality time to, and then my family, my kids. So a lot of like my parent friends from my kids' school I hang out with, and we give a lot of time because we have so much to, relate to and share and support each other with. And then my like soccer crew and my best friends who I've learned, who I've grown to build relationships over the years. And then the soccer community in New Jersey, New York area. And then my ESPN family now that I'm giving to. But then ultimately the bigger umbrella is, women's sports and fighting for women. And so that is, and the LGBTQ community, I'm very passionate about that. So those are probably a handful.
And what about random lightweight hobbies like skiing, drinking wine, checkers?
Yeah.
Like, are you a competitive Scrabble player?
Yes. Drinking wine. I love hiking. I love exploring upstate, where it's very peaceful and I can just get grounded and mentally just shut off. I've done that often this year, which has been amazing. And then, just visiting my family and friends, going on dinner dates.
The hiking thing is lightweight stuff, I think, can really bring a lot of value. And I think the hiking thing is an interesting thing.
Yeah. And just I want to, I have like a bucket list of places I want to, you know, visit. I've been traveling around the entire world for a long time in my career. I've been so grateful to even say that. But ultimately, I haven't really seen our own country. So,
That's cool.
you know, it would be nice to explore a little bit here.
Well, listen, adored having you on.
Thank you.
Continued success. Hit me up anytime, like I said to you. Anything I can help with. Karma is my currency.
Thank you. I appreciate you and everything you stand for and all your values. I really, thank you for having me. And I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Stay well.
Bye.
Hey. Hi. How are you?
I am very good. How are you?
I'm great. Look, I brought my Driven Dragon hoodie from the VeeFriends. He's my favorite animal, I think, of all of them. I just want to show that off for you.
That is very cool. Thank you so much. Why don't you tell everybody in the Vayner Nation who you are a little bit?
My name is Kelly Manno, and I've been a content creator for 4 years now. I'm raising 3 teenagers, and I am the somehow appointed ambassador of Generation X on on social media. I make a lot of content about what it was like for us growing up in the 80s and 90s, and I try to implement a lot of that parenting into my kids. Now I'm not really in the market of raising snowflakes, and so yeah, just a bunch of parenting, fun mom stuff, easy to digest content. That's my gig.
This kids book, Gail, that I'm doing is really actually, I think, the way we grew up. Obviously, generalizations. One of the worst things in society is we're trying to get the generations to fight with each other, as if gender and race and religion and income level, like as if there weren't enough things
like
to
we're
fight
not
with
fighting
each other.
Enough. Yeah.
Now we're like Gen Z versus Boomers and Millennials, and as you know, Gen X. We're this little crew that nobody ever fucking talks about.
Good. Leave us alone. We don't want to be bothered.
But you know, it's funny, the content that I'm trying to make with VeeFriends is very much, I think, what the currency was of late 70s into the 80s parenting, which was, it was kind of in the middle. It wasn't like the 50s and 60s where you like kicked your kid in the head and whipped them with like thing to like throw them in the garbage. But it's definitely not freaking 8th place trophies and like, I don't know, like, no, like parents talking to their kids about everything always and forever.
No, like our parents needed commercials to remind them that they had kids. Every night at 10 p.m. there was a commercial that was like, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Because our parents just didn't give a shit, and we kind of raised ourselves. And so, you know, I love the idea of these parenting books, and I hope that parents are taking them in as they read them too. So some of the best parenting advice I ever got when my kids were younger was, you parent the kid you have, not the kid you wanted. So you might be a really eager and driven parent and you expect your kids to be the same way as you, and they're not. And you have to relate down on their level. So your books of showing kind of like the yin and the yang of the patience and the eagerness, I think can be a lesson for parents and kids equally.
I love you for seeing that. And I think the advice you were given is profound. I call it reverse engineering. Yeah. You have to reverse engineer the truth. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm high energy, I'm hyper, I'm this. I don't have an aspiration for my children to be like that.
Right.
I just want them to be happy, but not what I define as happy. All these parents that like want their kids to be a doctor or an engineer, or they have to go to Harvard, that screwed up a lot of people. The resentment's off the charts. Like, now look, you don't want your kid to like not be an active human being, and just, you know, entitlement's devastating.
Sure.
But, and of course you've got to frame some stuff, but these, you know, I agree with you, like, you know, wishing who your kid was versus understanding who your kid is.
Yes.
Is the fucking
because they're their own individual creatures. Like, I have 3 kids. I raised them and fed them and loved them all 3 the same, and they are 3 totally different people.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite of the 3?
I tell them all they're my favorite.
While we're whispering, do you believe that parents have a favorite every time?
No. I think that parents sometimes have a kid that makes things easier on them, but that doesn't mean that they're their favorite.
What
because
about,
honestly,
what about psst, like quieter? What about like they like them more, like a friend, like they like them more?
Well, I'm just now getting to that area where my kids can be my friends because they're getting older. But when they're little, you just got to be their parent, you know? But no, you can't treat any of them different, because then they'll see that shit and then they'll be in therapy for years talking about you. So
Well, they're gonna be talking about you regardless. Yeah. One of the great things that I talk about with friends that always kind of helps them a little bit. I'm like, no matter what you do, when you are older and your kids are in their 20s and 30s, I mean, my mom. I'm writing a book called Perfectly Parented because that's how good my mom did it. Kel, but honestly, I think that no matter how well you do it, your kids are gonna have takes on what you did wrong because that's just like the rite of passage.
Yeah,
like it's the rite of passage of life, right?
And I think that we all get to a point when we're growing up where we realize and we look back, like our parents were human. Like I think a lot of people like are starting to blur the lines of like, you know, parenting and trauma. Like sometimes the parents that we had didn't have the resources that we have now. And so not everything that happened to you was trauma. There's real trauma. And then there's just, hey, your parent was a human that made mistakes and they did the best job that they could.
Yeah. And we've also weaponized words, right?
Yes.
Like now, like skinning your knee is now like trauma.
Right. Like when we were growing up, if somebody said trigger warning, it meant someone was getting shot. Not don't read this article. So, you know, we just need to instill more of that toughness in these kids because they're going to have a rough road ahead of them. And I make a lot of content making fun of Gen Z. I love Gen Z.
They're the best.
I poke fun at them, but I love them. They're great.
Because there's also not them, right? Meaning like when people are like Gen Z, I have unlimited Gen Z kids here that are working their fucking faces off. Yeah. And I know unlimited lazy as fuck boomers. So like, you know, of course we're doing that's why you love Gen Z.
Yeah.
Because there's unlimited Gen Z gangster hustlers, comma. Yes. There's unlimited delusional, entitled, confused as fuck Gen Zers, but that also existed in Gen X, millennials, boomers, and Gen Alpha's coming up, and they shit on Gen Z, but they're gonna have plenty of, it's just not universal. But look, there's a lot of, life is easy now. Like people drink $7 coffees, and there's Uber. Like people don't even have to learn how to drive. And
I've got like 400 television channels and access to Prozac like whenever I want it. So like life is great now as an adult, way easier than when we were kids. Way easier.
100%. What's going on with your content? What is what platforms are working? Which one do you want to crack? I'd like to help you a little bit.
So, you know, TikTok has always been kind of my golden goose. It's always been the one where I've been most supported. I started it during COVID, like a lot of people. One thing that I do struggle with, so my main platforms are Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. However, there's all these outside, there's endless revenue you can make right now. It is a great time to be a content creator. And I feel like I constantly have too many irons in the fire because I'll be focused on one thing and then someone's like, hey, but you can make money doing this thing on Facebook Music. And then I'll come over here and learn a little bit about it. And it's just like I'm bouncing all over the place. Do you recommend like really honing in on like 2 or 3 main platforms or just spreading yourself as thin as possible?
Well, first of all, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat Spotlight, like those are real platforms.
Yeah,
for you.
Well, that was going to be my next question was about Snapchat, but the thing about the irons in the fire.
Honing in, like some people think honing in is 1 platform. Other people think it's 3. I think it's 7. Like, you know, it all comes to capacity, talent, how much you want to reinvest into people helping you. And then when you go to monetize, how do you want to monetize? Do you want to go crush it just on YouTube and make, you know, get it from the ads? Or do you have an entrepreneurial spirit where you want to make t-shirts and sell stuff? Or you want to go do stand-up and do special? Like, there's a lot of reverse, it goes back to the parenting thing we talked about. You have to actually reverse engineer yourself.
Yep.
And then no matter what you do, you need to leave 20% to curiosity. I loved hearing what you just said. Too many people make the mistake of being overly locked in. Right? So like, you should always be randomly testing other things. I call it the oysters rule. Watch this in the chat. Everybody, how many people in the comments, please leave a comment, hate oysters? Say me. Just say me in the comments right now. You hate oysters. You're one of them?
Yeah.
Right? Me. I'm just going to wait for a second. We'll see, because it's a little delay always. We'll see how many people hate oysters. I'm going to make a point here to what I think you should be doing with your career using the oysters rule.
Awesome. Right? Well, while they're doing the oysters, I'm just going to give you a heads up that my next one is going to be you talking me into doing Snapchat because I just feel too old for it.
You're definitely not.
So,
and Spotlight, actually, that's where you can do a whole different shtick where you're Gen Z's advocate shitting on everybody else. And that's that's a place where you can play.
And is the Snapchat Spotlights, is it making money?
Money is made when you have attention. You don't need to just monetize on the platform. Ironically, yes, Snapchat actually pays creators well because there's not as many there. But I wanted to focus on brand building more so than transactional sales in the short term.
Yeah, no, I've got great brand deals lined up forever, and I've got a great merch line, and so many things are going great for me that it's just hard for me to go.
Where do you live?
Kind of near St. Louis, Missouri. I'm in the Midwest.
Got it. Okay. We got to find some time together. Let me give that some thought. But okay, we got a bunch of me's. Now watch this.
Okay.
No bullshit, everybody. If you just said me and I hate oysters, but you've never had oysters, you've never had them, please say, you got me.
Me?
Kelly, you?
Yes.
You? No.
Yes. I have the palate of a fourth grader, so like I'm still eating dino nuggets. So no oysters
my biggest
here.
Kelly, you literally have no idea if oysters are your favorite food of all time.
They just look gross.
I don't give a shit.
Ugh, I'm too old to eat shit I don't like.
Not true. Look at all these you got me's. This is the oyster rule. People say no without ever trying it.
Yeah.
People say no to Snapchat Spotlight, but never spent a month going hard at it like they did with TikTok or Instagram. People say no to doing stand-up because they're scared, but what if they did it for a month and got good at it? Stop saying no without trying it.
Okay. I will try Snapchat because I just feel like it's evolved so much. Before, it was the place where teenagers sent like their naked pictures because
they do.
It disappeared.
But guess what? Do you know what goes down on Instagram DM?
Yeah, the disappearing stuff and the...
People are always going to try to hook up.
Yeah. Okay.
Snapchat Spotlight, not stories, not Snapchat Spotlight, is TikTok and Instagram with a ton of attention. By the way, the kids that got on Snapchat when they were 17, 10 years ago are 27.
Yeah.
So it's not just for the kids, though it is the kids' messaging platform because parents don't know how to figure it out at all.
Sure.
Makes sense. It's locking the room.
And there is revenue to be made on Snapchat Spotlight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm like, show me the money. Like, I don't...
But be a little patient because if you crush on that platform and get tons of attention, that will then move to other platforms. And so, a lot to it. Anyway, love you. Wish you well.
Love you. Thank you so much. You've always been so good to me.
Happy to do it. Take care.
Bye, Gary.